Welcome to my new series on AutoCAD architecture. At the end of this video, you should be familiar with this relatively new software. It is the AutoCAD architecture. Well, it is not so new. It has been around for a while, but it is gaining more prominence in the school system. AutoCAD architecture is an updated version or an advanced version of the standard AutoCAD that we normally use. There are some similarities, a lot of similarities. For this version, all the features of the standard AutoCAD is available, except that they added a section for building. This version is geared specifically for building drawing. And it's important to note that this is pretty much somewhat familiar with Revit for persons who are familiar with Revit. So it is a building information and management system. For this, the first command we will explore is the application. And we have option here. This is basically the setup. It is somewhat similar to AutoCAD. Here we would click to start a new drawing. And here we have a lot of AEC templates. This is architectural engineering and construction template. So we have model, global, we have AEC, model, metric. We also have AEC drawing sheet, global, and metric. So for persons who wish to draw in feet and inches, they would use but AEC metric is pretty much in millimeters. Yeah. You could also use regular AutoCAD sheet from here by clicking here. By clicking on this template. Clicking on this template to get your original AutoCAD sheet. And here you'll find your sheet sets. So sheet sets are here. From here, you can choose architectural metric, civil, which these are consistent with what we normally use. We also have our AutoCAD ISO, which is one that we normally use for building drawing, and or AutoCAD, which is a version that is normally used for mechanical or smaller drawings. Let us go over here to this very important tool here. This is a tool here. Under tool, we have design tool. And design tool is basically where you'd go palettes. Under here, we have a lot of palettes. We have palettes for wall. So from here, we can go to setting and we can choose all palettes. From here, this offers us more variety. So if we click on Windows, this gives us a number of different type windows that we can choose from. And material gives us different types of material, and details. So here is where you would go to get your and for interior, here is you could also get your 3D fixtures from here as well. It's important to note that you can choose from design from here or from walls. So under the tools, we have design tools, and design tools pretty much contains most of these: walls, doors, windows, roof, etc. Content browser. Content browser is where you'd go also to get additional content. Say, for example, you want your bathroom fixtures, you want bathroom fixtures to install in your drawing, to insert in your drawing, you would go here, curtain wall, and domestic furniture. You'd go there to get your bed, your dressers, etc., etc. Sofa, get your 3D sofa, and these are 3D objects. With AutoCAD architecture, when you insert 3D objects in your drawing, it comes out. It is visible in the plan and also in the front elevation when this is cut. So this is very, very useful. When you come across here, we will see here is where we would go to draw a wall. And it's important to know that when drawing a wall in AutoCAD architecture, it is somewhat different from drawing a wall in standard AutoCAD. When you literally draw a wall, you're actually drawing a physical wall. You pretty much need only, so this is actually a physical wall being drawn there. And it's important to note that this wall is a three-dimensional object. So if you here, you'll be able to see the length, width, and height of this wall. Yes. And these are things that we will get into in subsequent videos. So draw a wall just like that. So let us go back to wall. From this, you can determine the width of the wall thickness. For example, 150 millimeters. You can determine the base height, which is the height from the finished floor to the ceiling. You can also determine the justification for the wall. And again, this is something that we'll be looking at in subsequent video. Justification will determine where the measurement is taken from. From wall, so we can quickly draw a wall in AutoCAD architecture. Unlike traditional drawing where you have to use lines, you draw a line, and then you offset that line to get another wall. So this is basically a 3D door in your drawing, just like that. Insert the door in a drawing by clicking on door. Also opening, you can quickly insert an opening in your drawing, just like that. And window, in like manner, you click onto a window and it will be installed. And again, you can adjust the width, height, and where the window is located quickly. So I click here and there's a window there. Roof, we can quickly, also on the roof, you can quickly generate a roof to this floor plan. And to do that, you can also set you can determine the size for the overhang, the slope of the roof, and the features. The thickness of the rafters, in this case, I want it to be 160 millimeters. And now you can look all four sides of this. It will automatically generate the roof. So the software offers tremendous amount of benefits. And just like that for roof for this drawing, here's in this drawing. It is important to know that it is for you to be able to effectively manipulate the software, it's best to know some of the shortcut keys that we normally use in traditional drawing. For example, line. On the line, you would have polyline, the regular line, construction line, spline, ray, etc. So those are still available. Under rectangle, we would still have our regular polygon, but we have some additional rectangles there. So these features on the drawing will have those. These are all regular modify commands which are still there. One very important thing to note is that layers, the layer property icon is somewhat different. This is our layer property icon right here. So you click this to add your layers. So that is somewhat different. Here you can quickly cut a on the sectional elevation, and you can determine where you want to start this building right here. Let me start that over. Click on sectional elevation, click here, left click there, left click here, then enter. And I bring this there. It will then ask me to specify the insertion point. Once I click here, it will insert the sectional elevation there. But from here, you will need to clean up this. So it pretty much gives a framework for this, and you would then go ahead and add your rafters and your roofing material to that. Here we have also custom grids. So you can set up your grid here, which will assist you in your drawing. So you can quickly generate your floor plan by drawing the line, and then down here we pretty much have some relatively familiar command. Here, the AutoCAD architecture, in most cases, the scale is set to 1 to 100. It's important to change the scale before you start drawing. Yeah. So for here, we also have a high detail. With this high detail, this determines the amount of information that is shown. If you want to see very detailed component, every little part of the component, you would choose a high detail. If you don't want to see much details, you could medium detail. Yeah, medium detail. Here, this is a very important global cutting plane. The global cutting plane is an imaginary horizontal line. This will determine what your sectional view is shown. If the global cutting plane is set at 1400, whatever you cut will show 1400 millimeters above the ground. Yeah. So just like with a typical AutoCAD, the cutting plane or the cutting level is about 4 feet. So once you slice a building horizontally, it will what will reflect is 4 or 1200, 4 feet or 1200 millimeters above floor level. You can always readjust this cutting plane by clicking here and change that. So if you're drawing a floor plan and you realize that your windows are not visible on the floor plan, it is because the global cutting plane is probably too low, or the window is above or below the global cutting plane. So that is something that you need to be mindful of. This is the elevation level, and this will determine where the level is placed. For AutoCAD architecture, you can draw multi-story building. So this will determine, you will set the level, and it will pretty much generate the roof or the section on that level. This relates to setting up of a project, which is a more organized and structured part of drawing. Again, this is something that I will not be going into right now, but in subsequent videos. So that's pretty much all there is, well, a gist of what AutoCAD architecture has to offer.